Yeah. Hello, my viewers on Facebook Live, my friends out there. Welcome to our live tonight. 欢迎大家今天晚上过来跟我一起互动。Selamat malam kepada penonton saya dari FB Live. Terima kasih bersama saya malam ini dan malam ini saya ada satu kawan. Saya nak introduce kepada anda semua. I would like to introduce a young friend of mine to all of you tonight, um, who's in to join me on the FB Live. Yeah. Good evening, Michael. Good evening, Simon. Yeah, yeah. His name is Nathaniel. Yes, you can see him. This handsome young man on the right of your his, laptop. Nathaniel is 19 years old. Nathaniel is studying as in SMK Batu Lintang. Am I right, Nathaniel?
Yep. Yes,
Yeah,
that's true.
SMK Batu Lintang. Yeah. And the reason why I invite Nathaniel to join me tonight is because I find Nathaniel very interesting young man. A very few young men his age is interested in politics, but Nathaniel is different. You know, at a very young age, Nathaniel loves politics, history, and politics. And so I thought this young man is very interesting. Yeah, Nathaniel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Say hi to your mom and dad for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
hello, mom. Hello, dad.
Yeah.
Hope you
Yeah.
guys can see me.
Oh. Mhm. Oh, you're not in the same room, are you? Oh.
No.
Oh, I thought you're all together in the same room. Okay. Nathaniel, can you say something about yourself? I mean, how do you when did you first started to like politics and history?
Well, well, my lack of history comes first. So when I was young, my dad would usually watch this channel called the History Channel. I used to hate it a lot because it's old people documentary. It's not the cartoons I always like to watch. But when but I have always had this fascination with World War Two at first because my grandma used to talk about it, and it always showed up on the documentaries. So that's the seed for what eventually became my love for history. As for as for politics, it came more from it came around from two when I found out about this form of digital comic on the internet we call Poland balls. It's more or less political satire where little balls represent with their flag on it will will be talking about some political issue and make it a huge joke. So for the World War Two, it's like how Germany is still a little salty over losing the war, and how Japan and China still doesn't have the best relationship even to today.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's it.
Hmm.
So that's
Okay.
yeah, that's the brief version.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, your grandma must be very old.
Yes, she passed away last year
Oh, I see.
at
Very
age.
sorry about that. Yeah. But indeed, she has um, created an interest in you for history. Yeah. Yeah.
She always
Yeah,
used to.
yeah, my
Oh,
friends are out there. You have been listening to me all this while, so I thought it'd be interesting to listen to Nathaniel. Let's say hello to all our friends here who have come in. Yeah, let's see. Michael, Simon, Kapitan Lucy, Tan Wei Lung, Christopher, Rangi, Casey Ivan, Michael Lee, Go Sao Kian, Van Ross Van, Don Don Liu, Tan Li Li, Moses Enjap, Fletcher Tan. Hi Fletcher. Hu Tek Hin, Davis, Ton Siat Singh, Manso, Muhammad Lukman bin Kipli. Yeah, hi. Thank you very much to all of you for joining me on Facebook Live tonight. Yeah. And yeah, Nathaniel, I meant to ask you, you know, because I'm interested, should I say children your age? I know you're not a child anymore, 19 years old, but
mm.
young people your age. What do you think? I mean, what do you think about politics today in Malaya, and politics today in Sarawak and in Sabah?
Well, I'm not really. I'm not. I'm not always up to date on and on the most recent political topics, but I think I have a good enough opinion, I guess. So I think in Sarawak, it's pretty much okay because um, how do we say it? Uh, we have a much slower political development. Same with Sabah compared to Malaya, which had much more time to flourish in a way. Because if you think about it, um, Malaya has had more history. It, um, the in my opinion, the root of their historical development was with Malacca. For us, we only started around 1841 with James Brooke becoming the Raja of Sarawak. And for Sabah, they have it even worse with the British coming to colonize in, I believe, 1871.
Mm,
So we had much less time to develop politically. Also, and before the British came, we more or less had political neglect by people in Brunei. So we we really don't have much development as a society,
mm,
to say it the least.
mm. The we have, in our parliament today we have 222 seats.
Yes.
Yeah, and Sarawak and Sabah. Sarawak has 31 today. Sabah has 25.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have Sarawak and Sabah add up together. We have 60, 67, 66, 60, 60. How many seats? 54 seats. Yeah, today. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think of GPS and all the rest of the political parties in Malaya?
Yeah. GPS is not in Malaya though.
Yeah. Yes.
Uh, well, if you're asking my opinion, I think GPS does a really good job least at least in modern times when I'm in the political scene. When I'm able to think of I'm able to observe the political scene, I think we've done a pretty good job at protecting Sarakan interests. But but I'd say other parties like Pakatan Harapan, they, don't really do that much of a job because they're more interested in Malaysia as a whole. and uh, oftentimes neglecting us the same way. Uh, this is a bit more spicy opinion, but the same way the older government used to, well, more or less neglect us.
Hmm.
You
Have
cannot
you?
blame.
Have you sorry.
I don't believe you can blame them
Hmm.
because there's just so much more people in Malaya to appease compared to East Malaysia. It's not in their interest to take care of us.
Have you heard about and do you know about this 18 points agreement?
Yes,
Yeah.
this is uh, the rough overview is that uh, was in a very early draft of what would eventually become our constitution, and well, all the points that were needed to be all the points that were needed to um, for us to agree to join Malaysia and Sabah to form Malaysia.
Hmm. Yeah. In the 18 points agreement, we have things like uh, immigration uh, autonomy, isn't it?
Yes,
People from Malaya, when they come in, they have to get permission to come in, and they can
yes,
only stay for 3 months on a tourist visa. But people from Sarawak and Sabah are free to go over. Yeah, we have these special rights to protect us from unfair competition from Malaya. Yeah,
yes,
yeah, because we only have a population of 2/million in Sarawak and another 2/million in Sabah, whereas in Malaya there's almost 30 million people there.
yes, that's true.
So yeah, when the British, it was all done by the British during 18 point agreement was done during Charles Brooke, isn't it? The days
Yeah,
of Charles Brooke. Yeah.
yeah,
Before the birth of Malaysia. But the 18 points agreement led to the drafting of MA 63
yes, that's true.
uh, together with the Intergovernment Continental Report. Yeah, and that was the instrument um, relevant to the formation of Malaysia.
Yep, that is correct.
Yeah, that time Singapore was still with us. Singapore had one third seats in parliament. Sarawak and Sabah held the other one third seats in parliament, and Malaya hold one third seats in parliament.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was pretty. It was a pretty balanced, I would say,
Yes,
entity, Malaysian entity.
yes,
But the unfortunate thing was Singapore left, and Malaya took over the seats in Singapore. We was Sarawak and Sabah was still very young then, and our people are still, I would say, very much uh, naive and ignorant about politics and the formation of Malaysia.
yes,
Whereas the people in Malaya were more well educated then, with more professionals. Yeah. So so to me, it was a kind of very unfair, isn't it? Yeah,
yeah, it is.
we should have half and half. Yeah, 50% sits in Malaya, the other 50% should be in Sarawak and Sabah. But unfortunately, it was not the case. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so we have landed ourselves in a situation today. But the good thing today is MA 63 is now enshrined in the federal constitution. and MA63 um, basically um, immigration laws, yeah, protect infiltration of others to Sarawak. So we're kind of protected that way. All the land should belong to Sarawak.
Yeah, that is true.
Theoretically, oil and gas belongs to Sarawak.
Hmm.
Um, the only unfortunate thing is, um, the oil and gas is now controlled by Petronas. Yeah,
It
we have
is.
this Petroleum Development Act. Yeah, and we had this. Yeah, the PDA lah, which
Mm.
controls our oil and gas. So um, almost 80 billion of our oil and gas a year is siphoned to Malaysia, siphoned to Malaya. Yeah.
Yeah,
If those oil and gas are with us, we would be, very, very wealthy. Yeah.
yeah, that would definitely be true because we're the side with the oil,
Mm.
and most of
Yeah.
that money which would go to our own development uh, get siphoned off the Malaya to
Mm.
boost
Yeah.
theirs.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So do you realize that we have been shortchanged in a way? The Territorial Sea Act, the Petroleum Development Act, which took away our oil and gas, and and they gave us back 5% oil royalty for
hmm,
many years until recently when our premier brought Petronas to court and won the imposition of 10% sales tax on petroleum. Today we're getting 8 billion in 3 years. Additional income of 8 billion in 3 years. Yeah, I don't feel it's enough. I feel that 10% is not enough. But then, it's not an easy thing to do. Yeah, not
yes,
an easy thing to do to try to regain all the rights on oil and gas. It's not an easy task to do. We have to
yeah,
tread carefully. We have to do it slowly, uh, cautiously. Yeah, because bringing somebody to court could backfire sometimes.
yes,
Could backfire sometimes.
especially when there's no evidence, or the evidence is not convincing enough for the courts.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. But in this case, under the laws, we have the right to impose sales tax on our resources that is exported. Yeah, we have that right to impose sales tax. So, but then even then, Petronas is a big company, and bringing Petronas to court is not an easy task. But our premier did it. Our premier Abang Jo is very, very, very far-sighted, very well-informed person. Yeah. Yeah. So, um, yeah. Where are you voting, Nathaniel?
Oh, I'm voting for Stumpin.
Oh, you're in Stumpin. Oh, thank
Yes.
you very much. So on the 19th, you'll come out and support me.
Most likely, I can't really say that because vote is secret.
For this secret. Okay, okay. Fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, I'm under GPS, under the GPS government. My opponent, you know my opponent, isn't it?
Um, Mr. Chong,
Chong Chen-jin.
yes, Mr. Chong
Yes,
Shin.
from the DAP. Right, right. I always feel that, today we only have 31 seats in parliament. 31 seats in parliament. Uh, in accordance to MA 63, we ought to have at least 35% of the seats.
Yeah,
One third. One third, one, two, one third would be seven, uh, 222 seats. Yeah. One third, three times seven, 74. We ought to have 74 seats altogether. And we
mm,
only have 56 today. One third. Singapore one third. At the time we were one third. Even though the law says that we should have one third seats in parliament, we only have 56 today. We ought to have 74. We were still very much shortchanged.
true.
So I keep feeling that, you know there is no reason to send any other parties to Malaya to join, um, to join those in Malaya. We should
Yes,
send 31 of our own people to parliament,
yes,
because only Sarawakians will take care of Sarawak.
yes, that's true.
Yeah. Um, the all the other parties only take care of themselves. Today in Malaya, they're all fighting against one another, arguing against one another,
Yeah,
and they can't work together. They can't decide to work together and form a stable government.
yeah, that's true. Especially
That's it.
since 2020,
2020. Why do you say 2020?
because well, Mahathir resigned, and the government effectively went haywire, and we faced most of this instability. After Most of the instability happened afterwards,
Hmm. Yes.
and not to mention there's the political infighting between Pakatan Harapan. But
Hmm.
you can also say that for most of the Malayan parties, they have more interest in themselves than us in
Hmm.
general.
Hmm. 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 Yeah. Let's look at some of the questions that are coming in, Nathaniel. Let's look at some of the questions here. Thank you, Moses, Fletcher, Manso, Mohammed, Fletcher, Hang Fifi, Concept, Concept Singh, Tonglam Kasang, Azahari George, Terbaik YB, Morgan Manang. Thank you. Terbaik Sepanjang Laman, Lawrence, uh, yeah, okay. Kasek Kobo, Azahari George, Jeffrey Roy, Tanya YB Sudan naik pangkat pergi parlimen. PH is the one that removed GST and made Malaysia bankrupt during their reign. Samuel. Yeah, let's look at this one. Can you read the words down there?
Yeah, yes, I can.
From Samuel Kala. PH is the one that removes GST and made Malaysia bankrupt during their reign. Although we are not bankrupt, I know that our debts, walaupun kita tidak bankrupt, tapi saya faham bahawa utang Malaysia telah naik lagi. During Najib's, during Pakatan Harapan's time, yeah, the our debts have increased, and when Sabri took over, our debts increased further. I think it's because of the uh, uncertainty in politics that drives all this, that makes all this, that makes our economy weaker and therefore less competitive, and which makes our debts increase. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, Samuel, thank you for your comments, and Tan let's see what Tan Wei Ling has to say. Kuching Sarawak mengalami banyak perubahan sudah dari segi pembangunan, menambah baik jalan raya, semua atas jasa dan pengorbanan khidmat tuan-tuan semua yang berkhidmat untuk rakyat. Terima kasih YB. Yeah, in Sarawak it's different. Huh? Yeah, in Sarawak is different. In Sarawak we have done quite a lot over these years, and the wonderful thing is we're getting more and more. Uh, I would say we're getting wealthier and wealthier day by day because our premier knows how to improve our economy. Yeah, and our premier knows, by imposing this uh, sales tax, is able to get 8 billion over the last 3 years. And we're going to continue to get 8 billion every 3 years. Yeah, yeah. What do you think, Natalia? Natalia?
Nathaniel.
Nathan,
Uh,
Nathania.
Nathaniel. Yes.
Nathania. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think yeah. Well, I think having the extra income for more development projects is very good. So if you ask me, I think I think it should not just be concentrated in just Kuching. It should also go to more rural areas to help improve accessibility with uh, with the wider world. As you know, most of Sarawak is quite rural and mostly unexplored. So helping helping people living in those areas to have more accessibility would be a really good thing for me, at least in my opinion.
Mm.
Because if more people have more accessibility, then more people will get to learn about things, and well, education is the best path to change, as I believe Nelson Mandela once said.
Mm. You're right. Uh, you're quite right, Nathaniel. First, you mentioned about roads, infrastructure, which will improve the lives of our people. Yeah, bring in economic activities, and therefore improve the income of our people.
Yes.
Roads, huh? And that's exactly what the government, the GPS government, is doing today. Our premier has put in a lot of money, um, building coastal highways, uh, building the second trunk road, and trying to connect, Limbang with Lawas to
Yes.
bypass Brunei, to make Sarawak more accessible. And apart from these major roads, there are a lot of minor roads done by JKR along the length and the breadth of Sarawak. This is what is happening today. And so you find all our contractors, they have work to do. The bigger contractors have, bigger projects, bigger road jobs, and the smaller contractors have smaller access roads along the length and breadth of Sarawak had to do. So everyone has got a job. Everyone has got work to do. Yeah. Um, and the other, yeah. What else did you say again apart from the roads? You
Well,
mentioned,
better education.
yeah, education. You're right again. Our premier has actually said, that those who can study, he would like to see one day those who can study. Yayasan will provide the scholarship for them to study. And our premier even said to those who have can obtain good results and unable to enter universities in Malaya, please consider to enter universities in Sarawak. So if we are Sarawakians and we cannot get a place in a university in Malaya when we have good results, we are kind of guaranteed a place in Sarawak to pursue what we want to pursue, to pursue what we want to pursue under Yayasan scholarship. I thought that was a brilliant idea and very wise of our premier with his very generous uh, yeah
Mm.
being. So I think I think with that we will be able to build human resource, good human resource, yeah? And we need all this human resource to uh, to drive Sarawak to another level.
Yes.
We need educated a lot of educated young people like yourself. Yeah.
I would not say I'm exactly educated.
Yeah, we have a lot of big projects coming up. Yeah, hydrogen is one of them.
Mm.
Yeah, the Japanese, the Koreans, they're coming in to team up with Sarawak to produce hydrogen, and we're going to export that to the rest of
That
the
would
rest of
be
the world. I think yeah, but China, Korea, Japan, they'll be using a lot of hydrogen from us. Yeah,
that would be amazing, especially because that would mean we have even more. We get to build up our economy not solely based on oil and helping to diversify helping to diversify our income and exports.
that's true. That's true. That's true. We don't have to depend on oil 100%. You're right. You're right. That will improve our economy. And the other thing that our premier did was to create a sovereign fund. Have you heard about this sovereign fund thing, Nathaniel?
What
And
is the
how much do you know about this?
what is the name of this sovereign fund?
Yeah, Singapore is doing very well. Norway is doing very well. A lot of countries in Europe have this sovereign fund. I mean, they save money under this fund, which gives a lot of interest. You know, the bank only give 2% interest, but this sovereign fund that we invest in will give us a bigger return. Yeah, it's like all those mutual fund, you know, all this kind of stuff. But then it's not mutual fund, it's a different kind of fund. I'm not good in banking, but I know that this sovereign fund, when we invest, will give us a good return, a very good return. It's safe. The investment is safe, and it gives us a good return. And that's because when we get 8 billion in 3 years, every 3 years, that's good amount of money, good nice sum of money. Of course, it's not just 8 billion from oil and gas. Bakun is giving us 1.5 billion every year, revenue. Bakun is giving us 1.5 billion. And we're selling electricity to Indonesia. And so we're making a profit of almost 1.5 billion just from Bakun itself. And yeah, our methanol, we are expecting 3 billion a year from the export of methanol in the future. Of course, in the future, it's all in the plans. And hydrogen as well. Yeah. All these are giving us a lot of income. And so, but we're not Harry Potter, are we?
No, we're
And, there-
definitely not.
and therefore we cannot say um, turn this 8 billion into beautiful infrastructure like Brunei, like Singapore. It took them years to develop. Even China needed 30 years, to turn the whole landscape around from a very poor infrastructure country to one that is very modern. Even China need 30 years to do that. That is considered, extremely fast already. And so because we are not Harry Potter, we cannot uh, use the money overnight and turn Sarawak into Brunei or Singapore. And so our premier is very smart. He's going to create a sovereign fund. We'll keep this money in our sovereign fund um, through investment by our own bank. Do you know that we have a bank of our own, Sarawak? DBOS?
Ooh, this is
Yeah.
new. This is new to me. I did not know that.
Yeah, we have a bank of our own. Yeah, it's called DBOS, and so all this money that is going to be invested by DBOS under a sovereign fund will create even greater wealth for Sarawak. And so, as we plan and as we come up with, you know, development plans, we'll have the money to develop it. When the drawings are ready, when the projects are ready to be tendered, the money will be there because we have a, we have it all in under the sovereign fund and in our banks. The boss will lend money to projects to be implemented in Sarawak. So I see a bright future for Sarawak. Yeah, don't you think so,
Yeah,
Nathaniel?
I believe if we continue on our path, we have quite a lot of potential to become maybe another Asian tiger.
Yeah, I believe we will. We
If we
will.
if
Yeah,
we
not a
if,
bad. Yeah.
if we do things responsibly and well and have the patience to do it and keep on planning long term. Uh, maybe your generation might not be able to get to fully experience it, but ours will definitely will, and our grandkids might 100% enjoy the benefits of our sacrifices.
Hmm. That's a very that how do you call it? Your comment just now is very very well thought of. Yeah, I'm very happy. I mean, through this conversation, I realized that you actually knows that the effort that we are putting in today, the efforts by our premier, you know, he's already 70 plus. Yeah. Um, yeah, just over 70, like, still young, still young. Yeah. And people like myself, in my 60s now, Um, you're right to say, the efforts put in by us today, getting, this Dato Sri Wan Junaidi, the MP for Sadong, for Santubong, yeah, the MP. He managed to, you know, uh, get Parliament to agree to enshrine MA63 under the federal constitution. That was, I thought, a wonderful thing to happen. And because he did that, we are now in a position through the process. I mean, through the laws that are available, to demand for what is rightfully ours in Parliament. You
Mm.
know, Malaysia with Sarawak and Sabah is kind of different. We are special, Sarawak and Sabah, because we have, MA63, the 18 points agreement, MA63, which protects Sarawak, yeah, from Malaya and the rest. In case some people would think, hey, Sarawak is a good place, let's exploit it. You know,
Mm.
they have a lot of resources, they are well off. Let's exploit Sabah and Sarawak for our benefit, individual benefit. So we are different. We have this MA63 to protect us. But you're right. All these efforts put in by people like myself, people like the premier, people like my boss, my deputy premier, and all the other parliamentarians, all the other YBs in the Dewan Undangan Negeri, in Dewan Parliament. All of us are working towards a better Sarawak. Yeah, a better Sarawak. So we have started this journey. We have tried to rectify things which are wrong through Parliament, and when we're set on this journey, we're creating this path, so to speak, for for yourself to take over, and you have the laws behind you. You have MA63 enshrined in the federal constitution. You will be able to pursue this even more diligently than us, more religiously than us, to benefit people your age and your era when you get older. When you get older, lah, now you're only 19,
Yeah.
uh, then the Chinese have a saying, you know, 前人种树，后人粮. It means that we plant the trees, you get the shade. If we don't plant these trees, you have no shade. If you're hot, no shade.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we plant the trees, you have the shade, and from there you move on. Yeah, you're able to move on. So I'm glad that tonight you said that. Yeah, what we're doing today is not for our benefit. We may not see it in our generation, but you may be able to see it in your generation.
Yes.
That's right. That's great. That's good. Let's see who else have come in with more questions, more comments. Huh? Um, Francis Chia, Samuel Gala, Adamov, Yuramichi, Azhar Hari George, Hamdan Ismail. Let's see what Hamdan Ismail has to say. Hi, why below and Net. Just want to ask Net. Here's a question for you, Net.
Oh,
Is life better in Sarawak than in Peninsular Malaysia? And why you say so? Thanks for attending to my question.
yeah.
It's,
Ooh, this might be a bit hard. This might be a bit embarrassing, but uh, well, I've lived in Sarawak for most of my life, and the only times I've been to Peninsula Malaysia is when I'm going for holiday. But um, as a friend put it, um, how do I say? As a friend put it, um, for them, for Peninsula Malaysia, us East Malaysians and Sarakians in particular tend to be much more calm and chill about life, where they're more pumped up with adrenaline about competition. Yeah, so it's kind of true that you know life is better if you want a more relaxed life and the having that high urban lifestyle is not the thing for you. Then Sarawak really is a better place to live in. But if you can stand that kind of lifestyle, then Peninsula Malaysia might be better for you. We, by the way, because we're Sarakians, we most of our money might at the end of the day our money will come back to our state. So in the form of like when we give back our parents money, like when we are working, we give back our parents some of the money. We might be working in we might be working in Peninsula, but still a part of that money goes back to Sarawak in the form of in the form of your allowance to our parents, and they can use that money to spend it, and the government can use that money that comes from from spending to continue investing and developing the state.
Hmm. Yeah, Audrey, you have a good son. You have trained your son well. At this age, he's already thinking of how to take care of you, lah, Audrey. Yeah, that's interesting observation, that. But do you realize that when you're in KL, everybody sound their horn, 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 horn. Everybody is impatient and all stressed up on the
Yes.
road. Yeah, life is kind of stressful, I think, in Kuala
Yeah.
Lumpur. But in Sarawak, when you drive, nobody sound their horn. Do you realize that?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and many times when I drive, I find that people would stop their cars, at the junction when I cannot turn right. There's cars coming in from the left. There's cars trying to turn in from the cars coming in from the right, and cars trying to turn in, do a right turn from the left. But then there'll always be somebody who's, even though there's a long jam, there'll always be somebody who will stop their car and then let you through. You know?
Yes, that's very true.
Yeah, but you don't find this in Semenanjung, Malaysia. They'll
Mm,
sound their horn. If you try to cut their path, they'll sound their horn.
yeah.
Yeah, especially the taxi drivers. Yeah. So yeah, and I believe that with all the wealth that Sarawak has generated, with all the jobs that our construction industries are having, we have a lot of infrastructures to be built, buildings and bridges and roads and drainage. The economy in Sarawak is good, because construction industries drives the economy,
Mhm.
and with all this income from oil and gas, the taxes, yeah, and all the other things that I mentioned, we are going to be well off. We're going to be very well off one day. Don't you think so?
Yes, that I believe is true because well,
Mm.
nation building is a very long term thing. Eh, it's a very long term thing. You don't um, you don't build Rome wasn't built in a day, and I don't expect Sarawak to be either. I mean, just for Sarawak to go from just Kuching to what it is today, it took almost it took almost 8 decades for it to go from this small town in the middle of nowhere to, well, a state the size of England. It
Hmm.
just So I don't expect the economic development to be so quick. It takes a lot of time, and well, um, yeah, because by nature it takes a lot of time. Development needs to be stable.
Hmm. True, true. Let's see what Samuel Gala has to say. The Malaysian economy and all the business has been totally destroyed by Pakatan Harapan. I kind of agree with Samuel. Even if it's not totally destroyed, our country's debts went up. The stock market came down, and inflation is high today. Yeah, and there were many taxes that were imposed by Pakatan Harapan. Then one of them is inheritance tax. So if our parents were to leave us with a piece of land, a huge piece of land costing millions of dollars, we won't be able to afford to pay the inheritance tax. You know, which is ridiculous because our parents leave a land with us. When it gets transferred to us, we have to pay the tax. Uh, we will not be able to afford to pay this tax. Yeah. So all this happened during the days of Pakatan Harapan. Yeah. What do you think, Natalie?
Uh, well, for me,
Nathaniel.
the, the inherit the inheritance tax thing, it sounds a bit worrying because, I don't mean to link it with any less desirable facts about the world, but this is kind of a common ploy that governments use to take away um, indigenous people's lands, so to say. Like you had that in the United States where they they had where people could not pay for the land they own, so they just sold the land, and that's how the government gets the land, which is kind of worrying, especially when you think about who gets the who get who get which side of the government gets the land. Does the state get the land, or does the federal government get the land? Because if it goes to the federal government, it creates a lot of problems.
Hmm.
Who actually owns the land? Who actually controls it? And it's not as clear defined as, like, how would I say it? Like federal territories, because that's its own thing. But this is government federal land in state territory, which creates a lot of its own loopholes and shenanigans that who knows what the government might be intending to do. Could be benevolent, could be malicious. It's and it's not up to me to say.
Hmm. Yeah. 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 But fortunately, Pakatan Harapan only came into power and root us for that matter for 22 months. 22 months, nearly 2 years. So now the inheritance tax is no more. It's been reverted. There's no more inheritance tax. So you don't have to be worried. You don't have to worry about the properties that your family is going to pass to you. Yeah, no more inheritance tax. You can afford to to accept it. Yeah. Let's see other people who has come in. Let's see. Dato Paul Lau, Widuri, Elroy Yap. Hi, Elroy. This Elroy. Elroy say, who sold out Sarawak? Yeah, yeah,
There's a lot of ways
right.
to go about it.
Yeah. That, yeah, I remember. Yeah, lah, we are supposed to be independent, an
Mm,
independent country, after the British colonized us. But then we also know that there are many other reasons lah why, we formed Malaysia.
mm.
You know, I don't think we're sold. I don't think anybody sold us out, Elroy. But those days, the Philippines was trying to take control of Sabah. Even today, you can see the Philippines. They still haven't given up on the
Yes.
idea of Sabah. They still say Sabah belongs to them. And Indonesia at one time we had what we call the Indonesian confrontation.
Yes.
Indonesian confrontation.
They managed to wait even up to Bahu, if I'm not wrong.
Yes. So it was during those times that our forefathers maybe decided to form Malaysia so that uh, there was peace in this region. We can protect one another. We can look after one another. Those are probably the reasons, yeah, why uh, we came together. So maybe we're not sold out like what Elroy meant. Huh?
So,
Elroy, yeah, how are you? Yeah. Yes, you were going to say, Nathaniel?
I don't believe that we got sold out. There's a lot of reasons. See, in our history, there's a lot of times that even the Rajas wanted to sell us off because, well, there's not much of an economy and is eating into their personal funds just to keep the country afloat. So, well, during James Brooks' time, right? He was considering uh, selling out of the Britain or the
Mm.
Netherlands or the US or even Belgium. And if you know anything about Belgium's colonies, it's not pretty. So, but one way or another, he still kept it. And fast forward to post World War II, um, Charles 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 Pioneer Brook didn't really want to be the Raja, but he still kept it anyway. But after the war, he just couldn't afford to keep it keep the state nation afloat. So, in my opinion, I think he's had to. It's more of um, circumstances that forced him to sell it to Britain under the promise that, well, you would take care of this land I give you and make sure you keep my promise on behalf of me. And, well, in a way, Britain did its job in a good way, where it protected most of the interests, but on the other hand, it was also Britain that was trying to rush this marriage, and but then you can think of Britain's decolonization after it lost India. It really could not afford to keep all these colonies. So decolonization going to be was always going to be a thing. But the Americans kind of forced Britain to rush the decolonization. So places like Sabah and Sarawak that honestly weren't really ready for independence just yet were were kind of rushed into their were rushed into freedom in a way lah.
Yeah, interesting what you said. Yeah, yeah, that we were not ready for decolonization. And when we are ready to be decolonized, we'll be independent countries.
Yeah.
But looking back at all those writings, all those evidence, it seems to point to one thing, that the British still wanted to keep Sarawak and Sabah because of our oil. They weren't ready. They weren't willing to give us, total democracy. Yeah, because of the oil, they still wanted to keep us under their wing. So they put us under Malaya, under the care of Malaya, until we're ready to be independent. I think it's written somewhere like that. That when we are ready to be independent, we can. But Malaya will not let us be independent that easily.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Malaya can't be stupid. That Malaya cannot be stupid twice. They already messed up really bad with Singapore, so they're not gonna give away East Malaysia that easily.
Mm, yeah, that's true. Let's see who else has come in to give their comments. Paul Lau, good luck and all the best. Paul Lau, Dr. Paul Lau, thank you for joining me on Facebook Live, and Nathaniel as well. Kamsia Brahim, Ahmad Asad, good night. Pamela Gan, Andrea Augustine. Oh, this young man has something interesting. Andrea Augustine, what does it say? Okay, like at least we get 5% royalty, 5% sales tax from Shell, Petronas, and Pertamina will be more than 20% that Chong promised. And it's nothing, just cakap kosong saja. Yeah, yeah, Andrea Augustine, thank you for your comments. You're right about one thing. About this cakap kosong thing. You're right. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Our 5% sales tax is much more than the oil royalty. The oil royalty. Our 5% oil royalty today is only about 1 billion a year. The income from oil royalty is only 1 billion. But the 5% sales tax, 10%, not 5%, 10% sales tax is already 8 billion in 3 years. So it's a huge difference. The sales tax give us more money than the oil royalty. Yeah. So today we not only get our oil royalty of 1B, we get another 3B lah, from sales tax annually, annually. That's a lot of money. That's a lot
Mm.
of money. Pak Sabo, good night. Sorry for this. After this, when YP want to make a live again, yeah, YB should use Malay language. Not all people know English language. Not all people have education. Yeah, ya. Minta maaf ya, Pak Sabo. Minta maaf sebab malam ini saya menjemput Nathaniel bersama saya, dan Nathaniel adalah seorang uh, yang berumur 19, dan semua yang berumur 19 saya rasa pandai bahasa Inggeris. Pandai bahasa Inggeris ya. Ya, tadi saya tidak ada guna PM lah malam ini. Minta maaf ya, Pak Sabo. Yeah. You know, I was in China, before COVID, and it was two or more years, 3 years, 3 years back. And the the Chinese government has, we made friends with a sister city in China, and this sister city is giving us scholarships to our students in Kuching. Of course, they need to know a bit of Mandarin. They need to understand Mandarin to be able to study.
Yes.
We have sent many students over to China, and one day, this Chinese government sent our students to Germany. So I was asking them, "Huh, why do you send our students to Germany and not your own students?" So this officer told me, in Malaysia, our students know English and Chinese, and we have a good command of English. Whereas in China, uh, their students do not have a good command of English. Well, that was interesting, and these students are now in their final year, in their final year. So China is very open and uh, very positive looking also. After they give scholarship to our students, they do ask our students, "Do you want to stay back and work in China?" Although they don't force our students, they don't force them,
Yeah, it's like
but they're ready to accept our students because our students have good command of English. So let's see who else have come in. Thank you, Pak Sabu. Muhammad Zulfazil. Let's cast our vote wisely. Thank you. What? Um, GPS has done a lot of good job to take care of us. We are Anak Sarawak. We should be supporting GPS. Yeah. Hi, Tracy. Thank you for coming in. Tracy says we are Anak Sarawak and should support GPS. What say you, Nathaniel?
well, I think I think we are a united Sarakian front in Parliament would certainly make would certainly make things a lot more advantageous for us and make and make it so that it's harder for well Malaya to have such a total grip and control over us. Uh, as you can see, our GPS being independent has led us to um, always back the winning horse whenever we need to, in order to in order to help ourselves. Since they won't help us, well, why would we help them? We need to defend our own. We need to defend our own interests. So if always backing the same horse is 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 not going to show any results, we might as well do the pragmatic thing and well be the kingmakers, so to say.
Hmm. Yeah, you're very interesting to hear what you say. I mean, I'm happy and pleased that you see it that way as well. Yeah, first of all, it's true. All these years, even I mean, the 22 months is a real good scenario and example of how they negate on their promises, isn't it? Or our manifesto is not the Bible. Uh, Although we promise to acknowledge MA63 and respect it, we don't have to do it now after the election. And
Mm.
yeah, the promises we made cannot be achieved because we have no money. So yeah, it's kind of sad in a way, but that's reality. Lah. They don't take care of us. Lah. The Semenanjung parties don't take care of us. Don't take care of Sarawak. And so we have to depend on GPS. GPS is the only party, Sarawak-based party, 100% Sarawak-based party that will take care of Sarawak. So we have to group ourselves. We have to be united, isn't it, under
Mm.
one family called GPS, so that when we go to Parliament, our voices are heard, isn't it? If one person say, I want that pot of gold, nobody will care about him. But if let's say, you know, 50 million people say, of 2 million people in Sarawak, 2 point something million people in Sarawak say, I want that pot of gold. I want MH63. I want my resources back, give it back to me. That's different. That's why we need to send all our people into parliament. There's no point leaving one or two outside, you
Mm.
know, the parliament. Yeah, no point. We have to send everybody into parliament, all the 31 numbers, so that we get the number, and when we speak, our voice will be heard.
Yes.
Don't you think so, Nathaniel?
Yes, the more people in parliament, the bigger our representation in parliament, the harder we can bite on these issues. And it's harder for the other states to just ignore us.
Yeah. This Facebook user say, putting the strong fact of uh, putting the strong block of GPS to Parliament will give us better bargaining power to bring more goodness and fairness to Sarawak. We have so much to offer, both in talent and natural resources. So we need this to be highlighted in the federal level. So I hope our 31 parliamentarians will see this comment from our Facebook user and voice out the the wishes, the harapan of the people of Sarawak. Yeah. So yeah, this Facebook user actually said what you said, Nathaniel.
Mm.
Yeah, he thinks the same as you. Yeah. Stephen Lim, thank you. Salvia Lim, thank you. Yeah, and our friends uh, out there, thank you very much for joining us on Facebook Live. Don't forget to like and share. Yeah, don't forget to like and share this Facebook Live. Muhammad Afian. Let's see what Muhammad Afian has to say. Now is the best time for Petronas to focus on infrastructure development in Sarawak. Working together with state government, we already give a bit of our resources to Malaya's site since a long time ago. Yeah, yes, yes, yes. I think Petronas should do more for Sarawak now. Yeah, because simply because over the last 60 years, they've taken so much of our oil to develop Malaya, isn't it? Yeah, Malaya now have good roads and bridges, flyovers, and not just a single story flyover. Now I see them having 3-story flyovers as well. And all the rails, elevated rails for the
Mm.
trains. So they've taken our money to build Malaya. And today Malaya is well advanced. Sarawak is not.
Mm,
So I think
true.
it's time lah. It's time for us to bring our money back to develop Sarawak.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and even if like, let's say Petronas is we view Petronas as the most cynical view, it would be in the interest to develop our our oil infrastructure. Say most of our oil is pumped from Miri area, right? If I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mistaken.
Yes. True.
And most of the processing happens in Bintulu, so it would be beneficial for more infrastructure in that area to be developed to help transport maybe petroleum pipelines, or if that's not feasible, maybe a railroad to connect the two. I don't
Mm.
think it's that far, right?
No, no. You can actually build pipelines to carry all this here. Uh, Chan Wei Liu has a question. When will ART be completed? The autonomous rail transit. well, the plans are going on now. I think it's going to take quite a number of years to complete it. I don't think it will ever be 100% completed because even Singapore today is still digging underground to construct their underground trains. You go to Singapore today, even today, they're still digging after so many years. I doubt if it will ever be completed 100% because there'll be extension work going on, new works going on. But yes, I have seen somewhere that our premier did say he would like to see this ART moving in December this year. In December this year, so we might still get to see this lah. The ART moving on the road in December. Yeah. And of course, to get everything completed, like from Samarahan down to the Mat Laut, and from Unimas down to the Mat Laut, uh, I think it will still take time to complete all those. Yeah. But very soon, we'll be able to see our ART, the, the first one of our ART going. The trial, uh, how do you call it? The the trial run, probably. Yeah. Okay, Ling Wang Chiu, good evening. Nathaniel, good evening. My my friend Ling Wang Chiu is saying good evening to both of us. Yeah, that's it. Ling, yes. Okay, let me see. What else? Michael Jong is still here. People of Slough are more passionate. Hello, YB. I see what YB talking about these times. Yeah. Um, Minimum wage must increase following prices of daily necessities. Well, this is another interesting question, Nathaniel. Minimum wage must increase following prices of daily necessities also increasing drastically.
Mm.
Um, I think that we have our basic pay now. I mean, our minimum wage now is 1,005, 1,500 ringgit. So I think that we should maintain it that way. Yeah, maintain it that way because if we keep increasing our minimum wage,
It will
a lot of
just lead
yeah,
if we keep increasing the minimum wage, it'll just lead to more inflation, which just starts this own cycle of increasing wage and then more
mm,
inflation.
yeah,
Uh, I think a better way to do it is to increase the productivity, which increase productivity of what we can, what we have, so the prices would go down, but go down in a natural and stable way in order to prevent this kind of um, excessive inflation. Otherwise, it will just lead to more problems in the future.
yes, yeah. I think I will agree with you in some ways. I think our minimum wage cannot go too high. Um, the people who are getting a salary should be able to sell their expertise or their ability, their capabilities. Like you said, Nathaniel, the productivity must go up. Yeah. So if we are productive, our salaries should go beyond the minimum. Yeah. And I also believe that, you know, we must all work to earn our meals. Yeah. Yeah. So, and if our country is rich, that's also one way of looking at it. If our state is rich, our Sarawak becomes rich, which is happening now, slowly, then our people will be rich as well. If our state is rich, then there are many things that we don't have to pay. Like Brunei today, they don't have to pay assessment rates, they don't have to pay income tax because the country is rich. the government is financially very sound, and so the people are not burdened with having to pay, all kinds of things. And so the tech home salary is used to go cinema, buy food, drinks, enjoy, because education is free, um, social housing is there, and there was no income tax to pay. Maybe you don't feel it, Nathaniel. Your parents will feel it, yeah, because after earning, doing hard work, a part of your salary will go into taxes. So if a country is rich, then we don't have to pay taxes. Yeah. So 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 this um, Nakodas, Pengempu Nakoda. Yeah. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your comment. Pengempu Nakoda. Yeah. Wang Shenzhen, Hamdan Ismail. Uh, uh, Hamdan Ismail has come in again. Thank you for replying elaborately on my first question. With reference to YBLO's concern of some people trying to take opportunity of Sarawak, do you think the young Sarawakians now are ready to defend our state? Well, that's interesting. Probably is a question that you should try to answer, Nathaniel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, well, depends on how you what you mean by defend our state. If it's well, I'm not really. Yeah, to say the least, I'm not willing to die for my state, but I am willing to well make a few sacrifices in money or in politics to help help the state become a better state in general. For if it's not for me, then it's for my kids. If it's not for my kids, then it's for my grandchildren, and so on.
Hmm. You're right, Nathaniel. I remember my grandfather telling me. My grandfather comes from China, uh, and that's why I'm born here. My grandfather comes from China. He came on a junk. There was no outboard engine then, or this ocean liner to bring him here. He came on a junk, and when he arrived in Kuching, he has nothing on his pocket. There's no money, no food, nothing. They were very poor, and you know, and so they came all the way from China because China was poor. There was not enough food to eat in China, and so they came over to Sarawak. And today, I come from the third generation. My father was the second generation. My father's life was a bit, a lot better than my grandfather. When my father grew up, my father, worked hard because they came from a poor family. But my father's life was better, and I would say my life is better than my father as well. And and so I think that my children will have a better life than me. And I think I think yeah, from there is how we progress, is how we progress as Sarawakians. And so do you think young Sarawakians are ready to defend our state? Of course, the young Sarawakians are still studying like Nathaniel, are still studying like Nathaniel. Um, they still need guidance, they still need time to learn how to govern this state. Lah. So, but then But then people like us, your parents, Nathaniel, your parents, myself, we being elders, we're supposed to guide you.
Mm.
Yeah, we're supposed to guide you, and so through proper guidance, we will be able to bring you up to become leaders who are able to defend Sarawak. We're asking for autonomy on education, autonomy on health back to Sarawak. Because during the 22 months, that's what Pakatan Harapan say. Return you autonomy on health and education, no need to beg anymore. But 22 months later, they said, sorry, we cannot do it. We cannot give you back autonomy on education and health. And so we would like this autonomy on education so that we can determine our own syllabus and will impart the knowledge on the 18 points agreement, the formation of Malaysia, and Sarawak today. We have special privileges as Sarawakians within Malaysia. So all this, we're hoping that our young people will learn, and when they learn about all this, they will realize that they have to be patriotic towards Sarawak. You know, we are Sarawakians. So, are are you all ready to take care and defend our state? I think you are, Nathaniel. I think you are. You just mentioned it, that you are with GPS because GPS is the way to go. GPS takes care of all of us. I think you're ready to defend Sarawak. Maybe you don't have, you know, the best knowledge about how to defend because you don't know, you won't know the history of Sarawak. You won't know uh, in depth, lah,
Mm.
how what Sarawak went through. But we are supposed to guide you. People like us, people like me, being your elder, so much older than you. I'm 62 compared to your 19 years old. So, uh, so there's a lot that I know that you may not know. So I'm supposed to guide you and bring you to the next level so that you'll be able to lead this country. Yeah, that's our responsibility anyway.
Mm.
As elders. Yeah. Darat Frida, thank you. Jamal Shah Matadi, good evening. Have a nice day. Mengempu Nakoda. Let's see what Mengempu Nakoda say. How about issue Johor, Sarawak, and Sabah? Did plan trio states gonna build new government, or it was just rumor? I think this is just rumor, lah. I don't think Sarawak will want to team up with any of the states in Malaya. I believe that Sarawak will want to be on its own. Yeah.
I do have an interesting opinion of this.
Mm.
Because Johor was the last state to be colonized, at least fully. Because, and I think this is what makes them feel a bit more special. The same way how Sarawakins and Sabahans feel special in their own right. Because, well, for us we have our own unique history. Sabah is also kind of their own kind of a outsider when it comes to historical developments within Malaysia. And then there's Johor that is on its own. For it was the last state to be colonized, so they have that sentimental feeling that they're unique. Not to it. So I think it could work, but whether it's sustainable as these three states how well these three states can cooperate, that's a bit more of a that's more of the challenge. in my opinion.
Hmm. Yeah. I think we should let the Malaya take care of itself. That Isthmus Malaya with its 11 states. Because if Malaya is one entity, they're able to take care of themselves.
Mm.
Yeah, North-South Highway, East-West Highway. Yeah, they'll be able to take care of themselves properly there. Sarawak is different. Sarawak and Sabah, we have a different constitution. Yeah, the state laws are different. We're protected. You know, land is ours, resources is ours. It's all stipulated there very clearly. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. No, I don't think Sarawak would be ready to join with any political part. I mean, any parties in Malaya. We will. We're getting wealthier and wealthier anyway. So if we
This,
join with anybody, we have to share our wealth. Yeah. So I don't think we need to at the moment. I think we can be on our own. Yeah. I think we can better take care of ourselves. Anyway, we are almost coming to the end now. Nathaniel,
okay.
almost coming to the end of our live. We've gone more than 1 hour now, 1.5 hour already.
I mean, time does fly by.
Yes, time just fly by, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm.
So I would like to say good night to yourself. I would like to say good night to our viewers. Saya nak mengucapkan selamat malam kepada penonton kita dan kawan-kawan yang bersama kita dalam FB Live malam ini. 谢谢大家跟我们在一起，今天晚上一起互动，一起探讨当呃当前的马来西亚的政治，还有我们沙劳越的政治。我要感谢我们今天晚上的这位朋友，saya nak mengucapkan jutaan terima kasih kepada Nathan, kepada Nathaniel,
Yeah.
Nathaniel. Yeah. So when are you coming back to Sarawak, Nathan?
Oh, I should be coming in just during the holiday, the election holiday on the 17th.
17, you'll be back, huh?
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, that's good. So let's call it a day, Nathaniel, and say good night to our friends
All
on
right. Good
Facebook
night.
Live. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Good night, everyone.
yeah, yeah. Good night, everybody. Terima kasih, and see you all again tomorrow evening. Yeah. Good night, and tomorrow evening I've got another guest with me. Um, her name is Dr. Miko. She's a lecturer with this no, Swinburne University, Dr. Miko. So we'll have a chat with her tomorrow night and see you all tomorrow night. Yeah. So good night, all, and have a good rest. Yeah. Bye bye.